First at 9 this Wednesday, the 12th of March 2025. Justice served. Suspect who sexually assaulted a female doctor in Anuradhapura arrested. Government medical officers continue island-wide strike despite arrest. Cops and robbers. IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon accused of maintaining a criminal gang. Verdict on IGP's petition to stay arrest scheduled for the 17th of this month. Green innovation. Opposition leader requests national policy for agriculture. Government to issue soil health cards for farmland. Political manoeuvring. UNP appointments spark controversy. Former local government representatives join Sarvajana Balaya.
Chino Dairy, Sri Lanka Kiren Perata. ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
කට්ට පරිස්සම් කරගත්තොත් අපි පරිස්සම්.
ඉතින් මොකටද නිකන් නාගන්නේ? ස්වදේශී කොහොඹ ලෙමන් ග්‍රාස් අද කාලෙට ෆ්‍රෙෂ්ම විසඳුම.
This is Derana first at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9, brought to you by Sri Lanka's premium news provider, Derana. I am Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. In your top story this evening, a 33-year-old suspect was arrested in Gulnav this morning in connection with the sexual assault of the female doctor at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. It was revealed that the suspect was an army deserter. Despite the arrests, the Government Medical Officers Association continued their token strike action at hospitals across the island. On the night of March 10th, a trainee female consultant at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital was sexually assaulted at the residence for consultants located in front of the hospital. The suspect, who reportedly threatened the doctor with a knife while she was entering the residence, had fled the scene after snatching the doctor's mobile phone. Following the cellular signals obtained through the phone, police successfully apprehended the 33-year-old suspect, identified as an army deserter, in Gulnav this morning. According to reports, the arrestee, who had been remanded in custody in connection with a separate matter, had only been released last Monday, the day on which the incident in question occurred. Meanwhile, Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa arrived at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital this morning.
I came here to discuss the required measures to be implemented in order to prevent such incidents occurring in future. As part of that, I engaged in discussions with the medical staff of this hospital this morning. Following this incident, the female staff of the hospital have become terrified, so we have to address their concerns too. Accordingly, discussions were held with the governor, municipal commissioner and police officials. As a result, security measures at the premises will be ensured commencing this evening.
Subsequently, the minister arrived at the residence for consultants where the female doctor was sexually assaulted. Following that, the Anuradhapura hospital staff continued to engage in a silent protest in front of the hospital, urging the government to ensure the safety of all female workers. Against this backdrop, the Government Medical Officers Association announced that the 24-hour island-wide token strike launched this morning in protest of the sexual assault of the female doctor will continue despite the suspect being arrested.
මේ සංකේත වැඩ වර්ජනේ අපි ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ පැහැදිලිවම මේ සිදුවුණු අමානුෂික මිලේච්ඡ සිදුවීමට විරෝධය දක්වමින්. එතකොට මේක අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තද නැද්ද ඒ කාරණේත් එක්ක අපිට අදාළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කියන්නේ කෙසේ වුවත් හෙට උදෑසන 8 වෙනකම් මේ වැඩ වර්ජනය යනවා. පැහැදිලිව හෙට දින උදෑසන 8 දක්වා මේ වැඩ වර්ජනය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa addressed the matter in Parliament today.
I went to Anuradhapura last night to ensure the safety of those employees. There are several shortcomings which came to my attention during the inspection. Prior to this tragic incident, similar occurrences have taken place within the same premises and other nearby locations. These are not issues which require the intervention of the Health Ministry, but the hospital administration should intervene to resolve these matters. However, during the last few years, the acting director of the hospital failed to take any action in this regard. I believe that if they had performed their duties well, these issues wouldn't have arisen. Additionally, I also observed some shortcomings in the security of the hospital. They should have developed the hospital security system in a way which prevents anything illegal from happening. However, the administration has failed to do that. As a result, the Health Ministry will take action against the hospital administration and security personnel. While we are ensuring public safety and implementing measures to resolve these issues, we received information last night of a strike planned to be launched island-wide today. The fact that they decided to launch the strike while we are implementing measures cannot be justified. They could have either withdrawn from the strike action once the suspect was apprehended. We have to be considerate of those employees as well as the general public. Therefore, I request them to conclude the strike action and provide their services to the general public.
As the committee stage debate on the 2025 appropriation bill continued in Parliament today, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa urged the government to establish a national policy for agriculture, ensuring stability rather than policies that change with each administration. During the debate, Agriculture Minister K.D. Lanka stated that the wildlife census scheduled for the 15th of March may need to be conducted multiple times to ensure accuracy. Meanwhile, National People's Power MP Ashoka Ranwala noted that the government plans to introduce soil health cards for farmlands this year.
We need a national policy for agriculture regardless of changes in policies over time. A key aspect of this policy should be to recognize and appreciate the farmers engaged in agriculture. Additionally, agriculture itself must be valued, respected and promoted.
The agriculture ministers have scheduled the 15th of this month for a wildlife census. What we want to know is what will happen afterwards. The public and intellectuals believe this initiative is likely to fail. The census only collects data during the daytime, yet there are nocturnal animals such as wild boars and porcupines that are not being accounted for. Why have they been excluded?
The agriculture ministers have scheduled a major issue we faced when discussing farmers' concerns, particularly paddy farmers, was that if a fair price is not ensured in relation to production costs, farmers will abandon farming as it becomes unsustainable. However, in the 2024-25 season, we have not received complaints about selling prices being lower than production costs, which is a positive development. Regarding the wildlife census, no one has attempted such an initiative before. I am not saying we will achieve 100% success on the first attempt. We may need to repeat it several times. The ministry took charge of this issue because it directly affects farmers, yet no one else has taken the necessary steps. It is disappointing that in the past 76 years, Sri Lanka has not established a dedicated subject on wildlife management. To manage wildlife effectively, we need data. Yet even the Department of Wildlife Conservation lacks proper records.
Since we began our journey in 2005, we have increased agricultural yields and improved farmers' income. However, we are still lagging in integrating technology into the sector and we must acknowledge this gap. Now you have the opportunity to address this issue. There is no threat from us as we do not intend to encourage protest against the government by inciting farmers. I also extend my best wishes for the wildlife census scheduled for the 15th of this month. We will offer our fullest support.
We have failed to determine the proper fertilizer dosage required for the specific microbiome present in Sri Lanka. However, this government has taken steps to address this issue by introducing a soil health card system. Funds have been allocated for this initiative through the budget. Currently, we are working with a group of farmers in the Mahaweli H zone, assessing their lands and providing recommendations on the appropriate amount of fertilizer needed for the next season. Our goal is to distribute 15,000 soil health cards this year.
Union Assurance. චන්දුරුසුමේ කාගෙන් මන අපේ සිග TV සඳහා සුපිරි deal.
Don't waste time. Start your degree with pending A-level results this February with our partner universities. Call ACBT on 0117 699 499.
It was claimed before the Court of Appeal today that a criminal gang had been maintained under IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon. Additional Solicitor General Dileepa Piris made this claim in court when the writ petition filed by the IGP seeking to prevent his arrest over the 2023 shooting in Waligama was taken for consideration. The Court of Appeal is scheduled to deliver its decision regarding the petition on the 17th of this month.
The writ petition filed by IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon seeking an interim injunction to suspend the order issued by the Mathura Magistrates Court for his arrest was taken up for consideration today before a Court of Appeal judge bench comprising Acting President of the Court of Appeal Justice Mohammed Tahir Lafar and Justice Sarath Disanayaka. At the outset of the hearing, President's Counsel Romesh De Silva representing Deshabandhu Tennakon argued that the order issued by the Mathura Magistrates Court for his client's arrest did not adhere to correct legal procedure. He further contended that the report on which the magistrate's order was based does not qualify as a proper legal document under Section 136(1)(b) of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Therefore, he asserted that the entire order issued by the magistrate was contrary to law. Additionally, the counsellor for IGP Tennakon stated that although the incident was under investigation while the IGP was actively on duty, he was not summoned to court to provide a statement regarding the matter. Based on these legal arguments, he requested the court to issue an interim injunction suspending the arrest warrant issued by the Mathura Magistrates Court. During the hearing, the bench of justices questioned the President's counsel on why the IGP could not appear before court and provide a statement as a mark of respect to the Magistrates Court. In response, the President's counsel stated that while IGP Tennakon was willing to do so, there was a risk of him being arrested and remanded. He added that if an undertaking was given ensuring that his client would not be arrested, Tennakon would fully cooperate with the investigation. However, Additional Solicitor General Dileepa Piris representing the Attorney General stated that such an undertaking could not be provided. Upon further questioning by the bench of justices regarding whether the counsellor representing the IGP was aware of his client's whereabouts and where the affidavit related to the case had been signed, no clear response was given. Subsequently, Additional Solicitor General Dileepa Piris representing the respondents argued before the court that Tennakon's arrest was not a decision made by the police but rather a court order. Further explaining the incident in question, the Additional Solicitor General stated that during the events in Mathura, a group of 7 officers from the Colombo Crime Division had travelled to Mathura on the orders of the petitioner Deshabandhu Tennakon. Upon inquiry, the officers had claimed that they were conducting a raid to arrest suspects in a drug-related investigation and that the exchange of gunfire occurred as a counter-attack after a suspect fired at them. However, officers from the Waligama Police Mobile Operation Unit had suspected them to be criminals and opened fire. The counsel for the respondents questioned why officers acting under the direct orders of the then acting IGP Tennakon fled the scene during the confrontation with the police. He further inquired why the injured police officers had not received even basic medical treatment until their vehicle was intercepted at a roadblock in Imaduwa. Additionally, he pointed out that the officers fleeing the scene had turned off their mobile phones throughout the operation and questioned the necessity of such an action if the operation was legitimate. The Additional Solicitor General further alleged that a criminal gang had been operating under the instructions of then acting IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon. He also stated that the Mathura magistrate had noted the need for an investigation into the actions of the then Minister of Public Security Tiran Alas. Accordingly, Additional Solicitor General Dileepa Piris requested the court to dismiss the petition at the first instance, asserting that Deshabandhu Tennakon had concealed facts and presented information in a manner that did not comply with the regulations of the Court of Appeal. After considering the arguments presented, the Court of Appeal bench announced that it would deliver its decision on the petition on the 17th of March.
President Anura Disanayaka today discussed the introduction of an online system for approving urban plans with officials of the Urban Development Authority. Meanwhile, during a separate engagement with officials of the Excise Department, the President discussed integrating the Excise Department's operations with the Inland Revenue Department to enhance efficiency and fairness in tax collection.
President Anura Disanayaka today met officials of the Urban Development Authority at the Presidential Secretariat. Discussions focused on strengthening the national economy through systematic urban development. Additionally, the significance of streamlining the approval process for urban plans through an online system was emphasized. The meeting also explored strategies for the swift implementation of the development plans currently formulated for 119 cities across the country. Meanwhile, yesterday the President met officials from the Ministry of Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment. The discussion focused on government and non-governmental organizations working together to ensure citizens' economic, social and cultural security, and attention was given to providing financial assistance to economically vulnerable groups, with a proposal to allocate 55 billion rupees from the Samurdhi Fund for this purpose. Additionally, the meeting addressed the need to enhance legal and institutional frameworks to support the social protection and economic empowerment of women, children, vulnerable groups and marginalized individuals, aligning with national priorities and international standards. The President also met officials of the Department of Excise yesterday. A key point of the discussion was the integration of the department's operations with the Inland Revenue Department to enhance efficiency and fairness in tax collection. Attention was also drawn to the efficient and effective regulation of alcohol and other approved intoxicants to support economic growth. Discussions were held on revenue collection and protection through an effective decision-making and management mechanism in strategic and operational activities, and the necessity of formulating a human resource and technological development plan to enhance the efficiency of the Excise Department was also discussed.
Fast track your career from O-levels with eSoft.
ඩයිබටසෝල් සීනිවලින් පරිස්සම්වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
කැලනි වයර් කිසිගින්නක් නෑ.
කිසිගින්නක් නෑ. කැලනි ෆයර් ෂීල්ඩ් වයර්.
The United National Party today appointed its new district leaders and electorate organisers. Former parliamentarian Dr. Rajitha Senaratne was appointed the UNP's Kalutara district leader, but former MP Lakshman Wijayamanna, who was appointed the Kalutara electorate organiser, objected to Dr. Senaratne's appointment.
New district leaders and electorate organisers of the United National Party were appointed today at the Sirikota Party headquarters under the patronage of UNP leader former President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Former parliamentarian Dr. Rajitha Senaratne was appointed the UNP's Kalutara district leader. However, former MP Lakshman Wijayamanna, who was appointed the Kalutara electorate organiser, objected to Dr. Senaratne's appointment. Meanwhile, former President Wickremesinghe responded to two party members who objected to another appointment.
Agreement is important. This is our first course of action. The second is contesting under the symbol elephant. The third is to contest certain local government bodies independently, not as the Samaki Jana Balawege or the United National Party. Addition can be made in this regard until midnight on the 15th. Our leader Ranil Wickremesinghe made every possible sacrifice to achieve reunification. When we were reduced to a single seat in Parliament, we thought that would be the end of us. However, that single seat was so powerful that with it, the UNP was able to boast the 8th executive president of Sri Lanka. Some questioned what is next for us. We might be able to field another president even without a seat in Parliament.
ඔබට විශාල වැඩ කොටසක් තියෙනවා. ඔබේ සාර්ථකත්වය මම හිතන්නේ මේ අවුරුද්ද අවසන් වෙනකොට අපිට දැනගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ සංවිධායක මහතුරුන්ට දුව ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා තමන්ගේ කොට්ටාසේ සංවිධායක හැටියට හෝ දිස්ත්‍රික්ක සංවිධායක හැටියට ඒ වගකීම් ඉෂ්ට කරන්න.
Welcome back. Now, in further political developments, leader of the Sarva Jana Balaya parliamentarian Dilith Jayavira asserts that his party is ready to serve the public more efficiently at the grassroots level through the implementation of the Sarva Jana Balaya committees. He made this statement when several former members of 4 local government institutions in the Colombo district joined the Sarva Jana Balaya.
A group of 20 former members of the Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte and Moratuwa Municipal Councils and the Maharagama and Boralasgamu Urban Councils joined the Sarvajana Balaya today. We will be responsible for all members who join our party. We will only recruit those who are experienced in politics, those who have experience in working for urban councils, and those who maintain a clean profile.
We do not approve of corruption. We want to inspire change. But the NPP government strategies are not suitable for that. They do not know real humanity. They haven't embraced real humanity. The Sarvajana Balaya engages in politics that is centered around people. No matter what political victories we achieve, we will stand against corruption. We will implement the creative concept of appointing Sarvajana committees. We will develop and embrace entrepreneurship. We will be able to recreate beautiful cities by creatively managing local government institutions like never before.
Meanwhile, 6 former councillors of the Colombo Municipal Council, including Pradeep Jayawardena, the grandson of Sri Lanka's first executive president Jaya Jayawardena, joined the Sarvajana Balaya yesterday. Subsequently, Pradeep Jayawardena was nominated the Sarvajana Balaya's deputy mayoral candidate for the Colombo Municipal Council. We are happy to announce that former President Jaya Jayawardena's grandson Pradeep Jayawardena and a group of other long-term representatives of the Colombo Municipal Council, who were members of UNP and SJB previously, have joined hands with Sarvajana Balaya to contest the upcoming local government elections for the Colombo district.
The 14th Annual Research Symposium of the National Building Research Organisation, themed Smart Solutions for Built Environment Resilience, was held recently in Colombo. The symposium was centered on transforming risk assessment with advanced technologies, innovation in action for sustainable environment, and digital innovations in early warning and risk communication for early actions. The symposium, which highlights research findings, best practices and collaborative initiatives, awarded 3 best research studies to encourage researchers. Additionally, a panel discussion was held on industry requirement for smart solutions for built environment resilience. This year's symposium was sponsored by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. In your stock update, the Colombo Bourse ended its run of losses today and closed in green, aided by price gains in banking counters. The all-share index closed 0.96% higher at 15,861.14 points, while the S&P Sri Lanka 20 gained 1.07% to settle at 4,730.84 points. Market turnover was 2.4 billion rupees. The capital goods sector was the top contributor to the turnover, while the banking sector was the second highest contributor. Foreign investors were net buyers today, purchasing shares worth 519 million rupees. Up next, we have Dilen Haris Chandra from Capital Alliance with some thoughts on the current status of the economy in our next segment, Economic Outlook.
In the monetary sector, the broad money M2B grew by 10.1% year-on-year in January 2025. Net credit to the government increased by 38.3 rupees billion, and while credit to public corporations and the private sector declined by 8.7 billion rupees and 4.6 billion rupees respectively. Interest rates remain stable, with the AWPLR decreasing slightly to 8.33% and the AWCMR holding at 7.98%. Reserve money expanded due to increased currency circulation and higher commercial bank deposits with the central bank, while market liquidity saw a slight dip to 166.8 billion rupees. Treasury bill yields fell slightly, while foreign investor holdings in government securities decreased by 2%. Despite this, the Treasury bill auction was oversubscribed by nearly twice the offered amount, and the secondary market transactions in T-bills and T-bonds rose by 21%. In the external sector, the Sri Lankan rupee depreciated by 1% against the US dollar by 7th of March.
And that's all for tonight on First at 9. For the latest developments around the clock, stay in touch with Ada Derana, the Sri Lankan news brand of international excellence. Thank you for joining. Have a good night.
information you can trust 24 hours a day. Visit adaderana.lk.